Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. My name is Katie Earle and I'm the coordinator of the University Express program, and I work for the Erie County Department of Senior Services, just like the two ladies I'm joined with here this morning. Before we jump into their presentation though, just a couple housekeeping things. Let you know that as you heard, this session is being recorded, so we'll try to post it on our website at a later date. And you may have noticed that you've joined without a video of yourself showing and you're muted. You haven't done anything wrong. That's just the settings of the program right now. You're also not the only one here in attendance. There are other people. It's just that Julie and Mary, Joe and I are the only ones who can see the full list of folks. So as we go through their presentation, if you have any questions at all or any comments, please feel free to use the Q&A panel. So for most of you, that probably popped up on the right side of your screen when you joined. You just have to probably hit that little caret to expand it. Then you'll see the text box. Make sure you're sending your questions right to me because I'm monitoring that, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we possibly can. But as you'll learn, you can always give us a call at Senior Services. So I'd like to thank the sponsors of our program. It's our Department of Senior Services of Erie County, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Western New York, Excelsior Orthopedics, and Wegmans, because they help make all of this possible. And as you'll hear, you can always give us a call at Senior Services. We're at 858-8526. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Julie Bugg, who's a case manager here at the Department of Senior Services, and Mary Jo Wasch, who is our Assistant Long-Term Care Coordinator. So all about you, ladies.
Thanks a lot, Katie, and welcome everyone to Caregiver 101. The purpose of this presentation is to identify who's a caregiver, what services are available to caregivers and the people that they care for, and to find out how to connect to these services. Next slide, please.
Hold on.
Being a little testy.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, thank you everyone for joining us. Not only is this Caregiver 1 for Julie and I, this is University Express 101. So we are happy to be with you and hope that you will understand that while we may not be the most technologically savvy, we are people who really care about our caregivers and want to make sure that you have information about services. So who is a caregiver? Well, a person who gives care to people who need help taking care of themselves, meaning you're the caregiver, you're caring for somebody who needs help. Examples of caregivers can be parents for young children, a spouse or a partner for their spouse, adult children for their parents. We find that there are many other relatives who are caregivers. It could be a son or daughter-in-law, it could be a cousin, a sibling, a niece or nephew. Even adult grandchildren help care for their parents. And sometimes we have friends or neighbors who contact us because they are caring for somebody nearby that they've known for many years and that they feel some responsibility to help out and they're looking for some information. So basically, you don't need to live with the person that you care for. You can be living in another household. That doesn't diminish your need for help as a caregiver, nor do we feel that it diminishes your role with that person. So we often have people who may be adult children who are still working and they see that their parents need some help. As I said, neighbors who see that another neighbor needs help and perhaps their children are out of town. And we talk to people who maybe don't live in Erie County, but see that the person who lives here needs some help. So how do you connect to services? Well, the Erie County Department of Senior Services can help you. We are very person-centered. We are happy to talk to people, and we love to get your calls to hear about what needs you have. Next slide.
See, did we miss one, Mary Jo? Oh, no, maybe not. Do you see anything familiar here? Our caregivers help with a ton of things. They help with bathing for folks, meal prep, management of medications. They help with dressing their loved ones. They can help with grocery shopping, especially right now. Lots of people are not leaving their houses, so they do need that help with grocery shopping, especially. Home maintenance, lawn care, snow removal, little odd jobs throughout the house, emotional support. They can make sure that their loved one is cared for emotionally, that they're doing okay mentally. They help with transportation. There are always doctor's appointments and errands and things that folks need to get out and do that they're not always capable of doing. So our caregivers definitely help with a lot of these things. Managing finances for folks, paying bills, making sure people are up to date on their finances, and of course, taking people to medical appointments, making sure that they are the ones listening to the doctor or reiterating the care that folks are going to be needing. I work with lots of people that care for someone with dementia, so sometimes that medical appointment escort is really, really important for their loved ones. And lots of other things. There are things that our caregivers help with that we don't even think about half the time until the need is there. Some of the common feelings that our caregivers feel, our caregivers are many times overwhelmed or exhausted. Caregiving can lead to feelings of gratefulness or stress. They can be a little angry sometimes and resentful, which can make you feel even more, more horrible and more guilty. Caregiving is a very rewarding experience for many people, but it can also pull them in different directions and lead to them feeling a bit scattered or lonely. They might feel like they're the only person that's really available for their loved one. And when you're working with their loved one plus the families that they're trying to help or their full-time jobs, it's extremely demanding sometimes. But a lot of my caregivers definitely feel fortunate that they can spend this much time with their loved ones and be that person that they really go to for their help.
Not sure where to start or who to call? Well, Senior Services is a great place to start. And we're going to provide you with some information on how to get a hold of us and what are some of the services that we provide or that we link our caregivers with. Next slide, please. So the Erie County Department of Senior Services provides a county case manager who will complete an assessment for people who are 60 years or older to determine their eligibility for services. And let me say that you as the caregiver do not need to be older than 60 years, but the person that you are caring for would be a senior. The services and supports will help keep older adults safely in their homes and participating in their communities. New York Connects is a hotline that provides information about the different services and programs throughout the county. Our local phone number is 716-858-8526. And New York Connects is open Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Sometimes people get a little confused because they'll say, oh, I thought I was calling Senior Services. You are calling Erie County Senior Services. New York Connects is sponsored by New York State and is embedded in every county. It happens to work through Senior Services here. Other counties, it might be through their social services programs or even tied into a nonprofit organization. Locally, though, again, you would call 716-858-8526. Next slide, please.
So we definitely want our caregivers to make sure that they know that there is a ton of help that's available. And these are all services that you can link up with through calling New York Connects. So some of the things that we really help our caregivers with, we have a high cap office. It's a department right in our senior services, in our department that actually helps with insurance. If you need a different insurance plan, if you have really expensive medications, you can call us and we can link you up with high cap. We can link with home delivered meals like Meals on Wheels, home care where you can get an aide to help out with some personal care in your home, adult day programs. So throughout the community, there are day programs for folks, and they are fantastic. We can also help link up with these. A personal emergency response button like a PERS or a fall button. Respite options. So respite is the break that our caregivers desperately need, and we can definitely help with that. When you call into New York Connects, we can give you different options for respite. We have transportation services that are available to link up with through our department as well. Consumer-directed home care, which is where someone you know gets linked to be a caregiver, and they actually get paid to help do that. Powerful tools for caregivers, where we kind of give you some great information on how to be a caregiver and how you are supported, different tips and things of that nature. Caregiver support counseling, we can link you with Jewish Family Services for counseling for our caregivers. caregiver support groups. Lots of support groups right now are virtual because so many people can't get out. So there are great options for support groups all over the community. Safe at dining, where we actually bring meals into different senior centers or programs throughout the community. And nutrition counseling, where we can help guide you into different dieting needs and things like that. So lots more connections that are available when you call into New York Connect. Memory loss services. As I said, I do work on this grant. It's a caregiver grant, and it's meant to give our caregivers that break that they need, that respite. So some of the things that I help people out with for a short time frame are services that link you with adult day programs for your loved one, possibly some in-home care by that consumer direct program or an aide. I can help with overnight respite, where someone you care for would go into a facility for a short time so that you can get a break as the caregiver. I also offer caregiver counseling and safety devices. So if you've got a loved one that maybe has a little memory loss, I have door alarms that I actually can send you. So if you call into New York Connects and you are caring for someone with any kind of cognitive impairment, they will generally link you with my program so that you can receive some of those services. It is a grant, so it's based on the funding that I have available, but I still have money. So if you need a respite, please call into New York Connects, and I can try and help you with my services that might be still available.
Julie, can we hang on that slide for a minute?
Yes.
So I did want to talk a little bit about case management and what a case manager does. So a case manager is a professional person who helps link to services and also helps monitor services. Julie spoke about her program through the ADCSI grant, which is the Alzheimer's Association, through the Alzheimer's Association, and she is a case manager. So she helps guide people and links them with things like adult daycare, overnight respite, in-home care, and those sorts of things. But through New York Connects, you would also be speaking with a case manager. That initial case manager would talk to you about what services you are looking for your loved one or the person you're caring for. And they would also ask you what services you're looking for yourself as well. So for instance, we do provide some counseling for our caregivers, as well as for the general senior population. If you were not the caregiver and there was an elder person who wanted services like Meals on Wheels or in-home care to attend the adult daycare, we would speak directly with that person who needed the services and get their consent to assist them. In this regard, you as a caregiver are Julie's client. And so she would be working with what your wishes and your needs are. In general, again, New York Connects and Senior Services works with all seniors, and they would also be available to speak to anyone of any age who has concerns and point them in the right direction. So I just wanted to qualify that, what a case manager does with regards to linking you with services, and then through Senior Services, also monitoring those services and adjusting them as the needs change. Thanks, Julie.
That's exactly it. No, and that's how I usually tell my clients too, is where the caregiver is always my client. If you need a case manager for your loved one, which I generally always kind of recommend for folks, I can always help with that referral as well. If you're the power of attorney for your loved one, that is a very easy way to make a referral for them to have a case manager. And if it's just someone that you're helping out, they can always call me directly or call into New York Connects. And we can certainly make them with a long-term case manager. I'm like the trial run person. So I'm the way to try services for a short time for free, and then we'll get to the long-term case manager as well if we need to. Thanks, Mary Jo.
Right. Yeah, and with regards to that as well, you may not be caring for somebody who has memory loss issues. You could be caring for somebody who has Parkinson's or who has had a stroke or has some other medical disability, but their cognitive or memory, their abilities are quite intact. And in those cases, we do need that person's permission as well to offer services. So we need their cooperation as well to say, would you like Meals on Wheels? Would you like us to bring someone into your home who can do some housekeeping for you or provide you some help with a bath? So there's a couple of paths that we can take. We do understand that not all our caregivers are caring for somebody who has memory loss, and we're available to them as well to discuss services and work with them and the person they're caring for. Thank you. Go ahead, Julie.
Okay, excellent.
So here's some helpful Erie County phone numbers. Obviously, Erie County Senior Services or New York Connects at 716-858-8526. Again, available Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We do have live people who answer the phone. Occasionally, there's a little bit of a queue, but somebody will come around to answer that and talk to you about what your concerns are and your situation is. They will provide you with information on services. They can take a referral if you are the client, and they can talk to you how to make a referral for your loved one as well. Erie County Adult Protective Services at 716-858-6877. So they're the folks who investigate abuse and neglect. They work with folks who are 18 and older. That neglect could include self-neglect. If you feel somebody is not taking care of themselves, sometimes we'll get calls that we will refer over there or ask you to call them because they may say that the person's not taking their medication or not eating well, or their housing situation is very poor, and they have concerns that the person does not does not have the capability of rectifying that situation or helping themselves. They also look into financial exploitation. If you had a concern that somebody was stealing money or raiding bank accounts, that sort of thing, they look into those sorts of things. So you think of senior services, we're the folks who, you want some help, we arrange services, that sort of thing. If there's a more pressing issue with regards to neglect, abuse, financial exploitation, any of those types of things, self-neglect, then that would be Adult Protective Services. And they are also open, I believe, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, to make a phone call. The Erie County Department of Health COVID-19 number is currently 858-2929. When we first recorded this, at least 4 months ago, when we first did our initial Caregiver 101, we were hoping we would be able to eliminate that phone number, but so far we have not. So if you have any questions regarding COVID, pandemic, anything to do with, getting tested, any questions whatsoever, again, they are open as a call center that you can call Monday through Friday. So, and I believe also they have some Saturday hours. They have scaled back a little bit since we first put this number in there, but feel free to give them a call and ask them any questions you have about the pandemic. Erie County HEAP. So Erie County HEAP is a social services program, which we included here at 858-1969. And the reason we included that is because sometimes people need help with regards to paying their heating bills. And that would be HEAP. They will be opening up again in November. Due to the pandemic, they had a very long season right through August, in which they were helping people with paying their heating bills. So when you think HEAP, think heating. Anything that is related to heating. Erie County SNAP, which people know as food stamps. Also a program for low-income seniors. I think sometimes people, and again with HEAP, low income, are surprised at the income limits. SNAP is at 858-7239, but you can call our number, and we put out what we call a benefit checklist through Senior Services that gives you an idea of what the parameters are for the financial concerns. So basically, they would tell you here's the financial threshold in order to apply for these programs. People are often surprised because it's not all the same. So you don't think that social services says one number and that's it. Anybody over that doesn't qualify. Each of these programs has a different financial threshold. And sometimes those financial thresholds are different for seniors than they are for the general public. So good to call us. Again, New York Connects right at the top. They'd be happy to send you a guide to services. They'd be happy to send you a benefit checklist, which is always updated, so you know what you might be eligible for. And that will kind of wrap into that benefit checklist with the insurance high cap office. Also kind of tells you who people are that are eligible for Medicaid or the Medicare Savings Program, things like that. So those are really great numbers to keep handy because you can get a lot of information from them. And they're basically manned, every day, so that when you call in, you should get a live person that you can talk to, or if you leave a message, somebody would get back to you. Again, New York Connects, we tout that number all the time because we know that you can get through and talk to somebody who can then guide you to either the appropriate number to call or provide you with linking with some services. Thank you. Next slide.
Okay, so contacts for our caregivers. There is a number for crisis services. So if there's any kind of mental health crisis that someone that you love is facing, crisis services has a 24-hour hotline, and that would be a really great place to call if you're just really unsure of kind of the next steps. The Alzheimer's Association has a 24-hour hotline as well, and I know that you can call that anytime and talk to them about behaviors that you're seeing or different resources that might be available to you as a caregiver or to your loved one that has any kind of impairment. Feed More or Meals on Wheels of Western New York. Again, you can get through to these places through us as well, but if you ever need those contacts, it's a great place to call. They are fantastic and very helpful. The Pride Center of Western New York that provides resources and information for any of our LGBTQ community. The Center for Elder Law and Justice, which helps with any kind of legal questions you might have. I know they do give free help sometimes to seniors. They have people that will answer a lot of different questions about, different programs, different legal things that you might run into, power of attorney, pool of trust, different legal things that you might have questions about. They can certainly point you in the right direction or answer those questions for you. And the same as neighborhood legal services, all within our community that a lot of time will help you with any kind of information that you might need. There's a lot of tricky things out there that people don't always know, how to go about them, so they can give you some great information for sure.
I'd like to add with regards to Feed More of Western New York. So there are some geographic areas that are covered by Feed More and some that are not. So if you call New York Connects, we can advise you if you live in Grand Island or the town of Amherst or the Kenmore Tonawanda area, who would be appropriate to provide home delivered meals.
And neighborhood legal services can also offer some information about like consumer protection if you feel like you're getting scammed, any kind of weird things that come up on your phone, or if somebody's trying to solicit money from you or anything like that. They'd love to know all of that. They do pass that on to us. And then, there's tons of other services like Mary Jo and I have said that New York Connects can certainly link you with. We all are here, we're ready to help, and you can call us anytime at 858-8526. We'll help get you where you need to be.
So if you're not in Erie County or your loved one is in a different state, what do? Well, you can contact the New York State Department of Health, and they would help link you with the county that would be appropriate. New York Connect's statewide number is the toll-free 1-800 number on your screen, 1-800-342-9871. And as I explained earlier in the program, New York Connects is embedded in every county. So Tompkins County is a New York Connects, Sullivan County is a New York Connects, Wyoming County, they all have a New York Connects. If you call that 800 number, they would get you to the appropriate New York Connects for that county. If you don't live in Erie County, but the person that you care about does live in Erie County, certainly you would be contacting us because we would be the appropriate ones to help provide services and link with the services. There's also the Elder Care Locator through the U.S. Administration on Aging, which is, nationwide, that they assist people with finding something locally in their area. So again, even if you're not in Erie County, your loved one isn't in Erie County, but you'd like to talk to somebody, you can give us a call and we can hopefully find the right person that you need to talk to, or at least get you to the right county in Florida where your parent lives, or get you to a New York State number that will help you find services. Again, our job is to be helpful, and we really call New York Connects information and assistance. And that's what we do every day. If it's something we don't know, we'll take your information. We'll give you a call back as soon as we can find something out for you. So we are always happy to look for things for you. We are always happy to increase our own knowledge of what's happening. Again, if you head to our website, which I think might be on the last slide, we are always updating the website and providing linkages to information on that as well. Next slide. So nearly all of us are caregivers of some kind, and most of us could use more support. Again, you can call us or visit our website, which I was right, was on the next slide. But feel free again to give us a call at 716-858-8526, Monday through Friday between 8:30 and 4:30 p.m. Or visit our website, again, always being updated so that we can provide you with the most recent information. I think one of the things I'd like to say about the website, for instance, we didn't mention the Powerful Tools for Caregivers classes, but they actually are doing that statewide is a virtual program. And I believe they've had 2 so far, which have been pretty successful, where you can get online and participate in the Powerful Tools for Caregiver classes. And we have that link on our website so that people can register.
And I have heard from my caregivers that even the book that they provide is fantastic for caregivers to sort of learn more and do more and be more successful in caregiving too. It's a great support for our caregivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the New York State Office for the Aging has been well aware that our caregivers need assistance. And so that was one of the programs that they decided to provide and put together statewide and open it up to anybody in the state. Because usually we produce those locally. And as everything has gone more or less virtual this year, getting things up and running and especially producing programs that really required more audience participation was a challenge. And I think Katie can speak to that because she has done a great job of getting the University Express up and running virtually. And when this was a program that was always offered at senior centers and churches and schools and libraries. So again, please visit our website. Go ahead.
We just wanted to say thank you for being here for our presentation. Thanks for everything you do as caregivers. It is not an easy job, and it's, you know, we just want you to all know that we're here to support anything that we can and anyone that's in need of our services. So definitely call into New York Connects.
Well, thank you both for sharing that information, and thank you for everyone for being here. If you have any questions or comments for us, please put them in the Q&A. We do have one question that, you know, we touched on a little bit, but I still think it's worth revisiting, and this is for either of you. Can I call on behalf of my loved one?
Go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, so you definitely can. And, you know, I personally get that a lot because like I said, only work with the caregivers. You can call on behalf of your loved one. You know, we can certainly talk to you about our services. And again, if you are part of my program and your loved one has cognitive impairment, we don't even necessarily need to involve them right away. You would be my client. If not, though, we can give tons of information to our caregivers. And then there is more of a referral process that we would have to do where we would have to eventually speak to your loved one to get their consent for like a referral for a case manager or to put any services in. But we can always talk to the caregiver initially and at least kind of give you the right information, make sure you know about the resources and the procedure to kind of get your loved one set up with services if need be.
And I'd like to add to that. So as the assistant long-term care coordinator, I work more along the lines now of working with programming more so than direct contact. However, all of us at Erie County Senior Services back up those New York Connects phones, and that's where I originally started. So I can explain that often we would get a call from someone who is the caregiver, or even a lot of times people don't consider themselves caregivers. They just know I have parents and I think they need help. And they don't know where to start. We welcome your calls. You can discuss your concerns with us. We can provide you with some information that you can take back to your parents. So for instance, as I like to explain it, senior services, our goal is to help maintain people in the community. So often people call us and say, well, if I call you, my parents are going to think I'm trying to put them in a home or in assisted living. That is not our role whatsoever. Our role is to say to the senior, if you want to remain in the community, if you want to remain in your own home or apartment, how can we help you to do that? Does it mean providing meals because you're no longer able to cook because your eyesight is failing? Does it mean that we need to help you with somebody to come in and do some light housekeeping or help with a bath? Does it mean, talking to you about having that emergency button in case you have a fall? But all of those services are to help you remain in the community. And even if we say, how about applying for food stamps or how about applying for HEAP to help pay your gas bill? Again, that's saying, how can we help you to stay in the community? If your income is low, or if your income is such that you have trouble paying the gas bill and buying groceries, well, maybe you qualify for HEAP. We can get you that application. You can get that in, and that will relieve you of paying some of that bill. And the other thing I always tell my seniors is, you worked hard all your life, you paid your taxes, now these are your taxes working for you. I think a lot of seniors respond to that because they realize that this isn't a handout, that we're talking to them and we're explaining to them how we can help them so that they can remain independent, and also that they don't have to feel that they're accepting something that people still feel slightly ashamed that they're accepting help sometimes. And so we make sure that we make that person feel good about getting help and explaining to them how it will help them remain independent.
And we're good with stubborn too. We can handle stubborn, so don't worry about that.
Thank you both. That was really great explanation. Next question we have is, where did you say you could find the benefit checklist?
You can find the benefit checklist on our website, as well as you can call in and we'd be happy to mail one to you.
The website's right at the bottom here.
Thank you. Next, we have a comment, very valuable. Thank you so much. Next question, not the primary caregiver, but concerned about living condition loved one is in hospital now. Does hospital staff inspect housing condition?
I don't think so, no. I would say if you've got concerns, calling into either New York Connects or Adult Protective Services is probably the best option. If you feel it's not a safe discharge when they're leaving the hospital, I would definitely bring that up to the hospital social worker. They usually will help bringing that person home. But if you're very concerned that their living conditions are not suitable or it might be dangerous for them to return to their home, I would definitely bring that up to the hospital staff as well.
Yeah, they don't have a mechanism to go out and inspect or investigate. So as Julie said, I would bring that up to them because they are responsible to make a safe discharge. And the other option is to call Adult Protective Services. Adult Protective Services, again, they have that investigatory authority that senior services does not. So sometimes people will call and say, can you go out and check on my mom? No, we cannot go out and check on your mom without your mom's permission. If you feel it's a dangerous situation, then Adult Protective Services, the police, for mental health concerns, crisis services would be appropriate to call. Police do what they call a welfare check on folks. So, 911.
And the number for Adult Protective Services, I just pulled back up on the screen in case anyone.
Thanks, Julie. Again, and Adult Protective Services, you call and you talk to them. You say, here are my concerns. And then they have the authority to dig a little deeper and to determine if those concerns are founded or not, and if they can provide any intervention.
They're also a really great resource to just kind of bounce information off. I know I've had circumstances in the past where some of my caregivers thought, well, this is definitely an issue. And my husband was naked in the backyard. And when I would talk to Adult Protective Services, the girl's response was, well, it's not really hurting anybody. So it kind of gave me perspective on what they really consider dangerous as well. It might not always be so drastic, even though it might feel that way. And they're not, they're not going to pull people out of their homes unnecessarily either. They're very level-headed, and they will look into all kinds of inquiries as well.
Okay, thank you. The next thing I'm seeing is a comment. Thank you, ladies, for all this info. It's so important that people know where to turn when taking care of a loved one. So we appreciate you. And thank you to everyone who wrote in questions and comments. The person who had the question about the hospital said great answer. So I'm not seeing anything else. We'll just give it a couple more seconds. Otherwise, thank you all. You have our phone number. Please take advantage of our services. And I hope everyone has a really great day, and we will end here.